Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. We're going to talk about 20 traits of the narcissist. Sometimes it's hard to spot them. Sometimes the red flags just kind of pass us by. So as you're meeting new people starting to heal, just be aware of certain different things. A narcissist, sometimes they can be very competitive, like no holds barred, whatever it takes to win. So whether they cheat on a partner physically, emotionally, they'll also cheat in jobs. They'll take credit for things that they didn't do just to get the recognition, whether it's deserved or not. So just be aware of very competitive people, to where they'll do anything, just like that one cheer mom, where she wanted to win so bad that she was gonna kill the competitor's mother so that cheerleader would be too distraught so her daughter could win. To where they can go to pretty big extremes. They're also obsessive with their appearance most of the time. Not all, but some, where they won't be seen out in public unless they're perfect. They just have this obsession with what they look like, and they can also put that onto you, having high expectations of what you wear, what you look like, what color lipstick, what color nail polish, what your hairstyle is. They often think that they're right more often than they're wrong. They don't like to back down, no matter what they say. They'll be very argumentative at times, very adamant that they're correct. So if you have the correct information, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to be seen as wrong. They often have this feeling that they have a right to be late, to where everybody's going to adjust around their schedule. So take that to note. And they'll often take a lot of selfies. So if you notice the photos that they like to either post or show off, a lot of them are selfies. They seem so in love with what they look like that they just have to share the world, like their face. Sometimes people will post on Facebook the foods that they're eating or some beautiful scenery, but the narcissist will often do selfies more than anything else. And they love to feel that they're entitled to a special kind of treatment, that, maybe their birthday should be above and beyond, but they won't do the same for you. They'll often have, like, the birthday months, to where they just want everybody to think about who they are, and they don't return the same favor. So they're a little bit different, where everything is focused on themselves. And they have a high need for validation through social media. So be aware of that. You can see patterns on how people are. It's very high on their list of priorities, to where, they'll get offended. If you share their post and you didn't like it first, they thrive on comments. They thrive on likes and hearts. And they definitely do not like criticism. So if you call them out on anything, their response is automatic. They will go defensive. So be careful on that when you're talking with them. If you try to criticize them, we all want positive criticism. We don't like to be cut down. But even if you do it in the right way, the narcissist does not handle it well. And there can be some repercussions. That's that narcissistic injury, and they'll lash out in some abusive way, whether it's words, physical, silent treatment. So narcissists also love to have people talk about them. So unless in a conversation, unless you're talking about them or listening to what they have to say about themselves, they'll consider things boring. They really aren't interested. They know that sometimes they need to take turns. So they'll kind of like listen and tune out. They kind of get anxious at this time, where it's like, all right, finish your story. I want to talk about me. Now, sometimes narcissists are very giving, but they'll do it so they can brag about it. So if they ever donate to charities, sorry, if they ever donate to charities, they definitely do it for recognition, adoration. So if they ever give to a poor person or a beggar on the street, it's not out of necessarily just a kind heart. It's so they can tell people. So people will see them as a good person, because they know deep inside they're not. And the rules, they definitely don't apply to the narcissist. They will often break boundaries. They It's kind of like they want to break the rules. So anything that kind of constricts them, speed limit, or, whatever they don't want to do. Often, if they have child support, they'll quit their job. So if you have a child with a narcissist, comment below on how many of you have had that done, to where the narcissist is so into control and getting back at you that they'll quit a job. They don't think about the smart thing to do, help the kid, help themselves by being able to maintain a home for themselves. They just want to break the rules, regardless of what the consequences are. And often other people will make them angry. They get jealous of what somebody else has, and they kind of want to take that from them. Whether it affects their own life or not, they just don't want other people happy, because the jealousy takes over. They feel entitled to things. They'll often interrupt people because they don't feel that what somebody else has to say is important. So take note of that, how they are in conversations. Are they a good listener? Especially if you're listening to them, do they return that favor? And they will interrupt. That's one of the signs. They can be attentive when they first meet somebody, but they do that just to get supply. And they will be attentive to see how much they can get from you. So if they can get a lot of supply from you, they'll keep you around. If not, or once that supply is used up, they'll move on. So be careful on who you're generous with. Sometimes they'll just take and take, and then there's nothing left for yourself. Kind of like The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein, where, the tree gave and gave and gave to this little boy, and the boy just took and took and took. And eventually, the tree ran out of anything to give and was useless and ended up empty. So don't let yourself get empty. If that's why they say to match energy with people. And I have noticed this with myself is, when you talk to someone, you reach out to somebody, it's in a sense giving them your energy. So if I texted you, hey, how's your day going? I'm kind of depleted at that moment. Not terribly, but the longer it takes for you to give that back to me, the less I'm without that energy. And that's why when you text, whether it's your best friend or your lover, and you get that reply back right away, or within that day, maybe the next day, that's where the energy exchanges. And that's where the balance comes in. Because when you're giving out, even just that little bit of energy, like, hey, wanted to wish you a great day. What are you doing today? And you don't get that energy back. It starts to leave you unbalanced. You're depleted, even if it's just a little bit. I noticed that, we're all adults. You can't expect everybody at your beck and call. But if it goes 2, 3, 4 days, be cautious on investing with these people, because they're borrowing your energy. You gave it to them, but it was meant to lend it to them, so they could enjoy that energy and give it back. Maybe give some of their energy. It's just a balance in nature. Anything throws a whole balance off. So don't throw your balance off. Invest in the people who take care of you. So narcissists don't really have real close friends, because they take that energy, and they just want whatever they want. They don't take concern for what the other person needs. So their friendships aren't true friendships. And narcissists just believe that the entire world owes them, whether it's a living, employment, adoration, your time. They feel it's owed to them, as opposed to where they appreciate what they get. So compassion and empathy are just words to the narcissist. They can't recognize them as feelings. They don't have the capacity to do that. They can go with the flow, but it's not a true feeling. Just like somebody who doesn't have, there's that one disease where they can't feel, their nerve endings don't work. It just doesn't work. So whether you touch that person who has that nerve disorder, no matter how much you touch them, they're not going to feel it. And that's hard for us to process, because we can feel. But the narcissist, they can't feel. You know, so if you touch somebody with that nerve disease disorder, they could do that. They can move, they can act like they felt it, but they don't feel it. And the narcissist just has this like inherent need to be admired. They need it as much as they need oxygen. They can't survive without it. They get so uncomfortable. That's when you'll see the lashing out. They destroy relationships because once they do certain things, it causes a reactive abuse, and they hate that abuse just like we hate the abuse. But they're constantly creating chaos. They lie. It soothes their brain. There's actual brain chemistry that goes on to where it's almost like they need to lie. So they're pathological liars. It's hard to remember lies or who you told which certain lie to, because they're chameleons. So they'll adapt to whichever situation to suit their needs. And that can be exhausting. So your narcissist is exhausted, they're frustrated, and it just causes them to lash out more. So narcissists will be jealous of people's success, their possessions, their popularity. They don't just need to keep up with the Joneses, they need to surpass them. They're never really truly happy for whatever you achieve in life. They have this jealousy towards it because maybe if you're with them, they're afraid the focus is going to be taken off of them onto you. And it's really odd with narcissists though, because they like their trophy wife, trophy husband. And to do that, you know, there's got to be something special about you. There's special about everybody, but something outwardly seen. So whether it's your popularity, whether you know, it's how pretty in society you are. So you have to maintain this because that's what they want, because they see it as a reflection of themselves. But when people, it's a weird mind thing to where, let's say you're the most beautiful. So people are like, wow, you're so pretty. And the narcissist gets a kick out of, yeah, I got the prettiest person. But then they start to resent it. It's what they want, but then they resent it because of where the focus is. So they can't be content in being happy with what they get. It's just this jealousy thing. And the narcissist, they constantly fantasize about this fantastic future. So they'll future fake just to keep you around, and they'll try to mend you into or conform you into what they see as bringing them this future that they desire. They're constantly unhappy because they can't settle into what they have, because it doesn't matter what they have, it's what they envision. And until you get what you envision, there's that whole in between that you go through. So they go through their whole life missing out on this part of their life, because what we envision sometimes doesn't always happen. So they'll live their whole life unhappy. And that's why they're so on edge. And their coping skills are horrendous. It's very hard to have a successful relationship with them because they don't treat people the right way. And those are just 20 things. There's so many other things. Please share your story so other people can kind of have their feelings validated. I think that's extremely helpful in our healing, is to just have our feelings validated, because that's another thing the narcissist does, is they won't validate your feelings. They'll cut them down, they'll dismiss them. And I think that is extremely hurtful to us. And when we talk to other people who have not been through this type of abuse, they don't relate to it. So during all this time, we go without having our feelings invalidated, which makes us feel like we're not human. So big hugs to you guys. I understand where you're coming from. It's a hard road forward to heal, but it gets better. Stay active and rebuild your relationships with people. If you guys need any topics covered, I'd love to do videos for you. I have one-on-ones available, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.